Okay. Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm Max Semenchuk from the Web3 Institute, which is one of the co-organizers of this conference. And I would also like to use some time to quickly share about our work, our plans, and invite you to collaboration. So I'll talk briefly about myself. I work in IT for long and last 7 years, mostly in the Web3 space. I mostly came on the topic of DIOs and like distributed governance as a manager in hard and in bioeducation. That's what really brought me into the industry. And then I started to learn more about all the other technical advances there. And mostly I was managing my own development company called Fire Labs. And in 2020, I decided to switch to something more socially responsible or impactful. And around the time also in the Ministry for Digital Transformation, there was a team created for the regulation of the virtual assets market. So I joined it and worked pretty closely since then for like 5 years now. And that work also translated into creation of this Web3 Institute, the initiative where I call myself a program director. So basically overseeing programs as a program of this conference as well, or other initiatives we do. So that also influences the topics being the public goods, the regenerative finance, lately also agent-based modeling. So that's some of my personal research interests. But of course, in the institute, we have much more. But why it exists? So when I joined the ministry, as I'm not a legal expert and could not contribute much to the legislation, I was looking into the general strategy. So Ukraine had a really strong position and still has, because we have one of the highest level of adoption per capita in the world, usually like ranked from number 1 to number 5. Like it's not the biggest market in the size, but it's one of the biggest adoptions because of the crisis that we have as well. It's contributing. But also like there was like no regulation and but a lot of services. So speaking with different, like being a business person at that time, also speaking to other business people, I found out there's like a big gap in the understanding of the market and within the regulators, policymakers, not a lot of understanding of the industry at that time. So the idea was to, like suggested by one of my advisors as well from UNDP, to hold research under the foresight methodology. This is the methodology of like long-term thinking. So it was 2020. We stated like, okay, what's going to be the market? What market we want to build in 2030? Let's collect the intelligence from the ecosystem. So through the online and offline workshops, we connected over 100 participants from every ministry connected to this, parliamentaries, every type of business, like from mining to DeFi to developers, consultants, all the NGOs. We even got like a sociologist present at that work. So that research really made a foundation for this further work within the private-public partnership framework that we call Web3 Institute, which is like legally is like a public union. And this year we mostly made our bets on the talent strategy. So we were observing where we can contribute most within this platform, and that was the talent. So let me tell you a bit more like in details about these steps. So yeah, you could see on this picture, and like on almost every slide, you can find the link to a more detailed page on this. And this is quite a significant research in size. Like there is like English summary, but also big chunk in Ukrainian. But to be really brief about the content of it, is like all the people you see mentioned are the players in the industry and regulators and so on. So they debated, like the key contradiction was freedom over security. So most of the market enjoyed that lack of rules in a way, because nothing was restricted, like crypto was never banned, or was never like illegal in Ukraine, but it was never legal. It was like in the gray zone. But due to that, there was the minimum restrictions on the market. I think only the like terroristic funding or something like that was really having some action. But most of the users and businesses, they were um, living in a free way, I guess. Also, not having access to banks and so on. They wanted to have more connection to the traditional system. But that was the case. The case from the legislatures was that we need to protect the country. Back in 2020, we already like had aggression from Russia, but in 2022, the scale increased dramatically. So the question of security, the economic security, stability of the currency, the consumer protection were the main factors leading regulators to put some strict rules to the industry. And still the reputation of crypto, we call it virtual assets of Web3, but most people identify it with crypto and being like something connected to illegal activities, for example, or like not paying taxes and so on. But out of these two key drivers, visions that were foreseen, they could be called like digital democracy and digital dictatorship. So in both cases, they were digital, like that, and everybody believed there in that room that the market would develop under any condition. But the key question would be how much of the control would be imposed over the regular person, not so much even a business, but like people overall. And in one scenario, it was more like open and transparent and collectively governed. In the other, it was more restricted, maybe more favorable for corporations that could, carry the burden of strict regulation, hire a lot of lawyers, get more monopoly positions, maybe somewhere, and more surveillance from the government. So earlier today, it was compared a bit to the approach between Taiwan and China, in how this new technology can be developed. So back then, it was a bit more people, like in number, like that were connected to freedom, but also like big, like almost 40% were like more on the side of security, like lawyers and so on. They were also there. So while this tension existed, still one of the outcomes of that conversation was this roadmap of how we move forward and what the projects we build. And one of the projects that gathered like people from all the sides was education. So we built the time like initiative group around the basic course. There were other initiative groups, and now through the 3 years of since that foresight, this is there are more than 50 partners that participated in the shared programs that included the government representatives, not only from Ukraine, like Ministry for Digital Transformation or Parliament. It was also the government of Switzerland or Cyber Police. There were a number of academic institutions, including the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, or IEEE, the co-partner of this conference, the Linux Foundation, and our top universities, and of course a big number of businesses which were providing expertise and funding for the things to be done, which is one of our biggest, I think, assets and achievements so far. Also, behind that, there was a team of passionate people who were coordinating and maintaining those initiatives. You would hear a presentation, for example, from Dmitry Nikolaevsky, who's one of the key authors of the law on the virtual assets. You will hear from Dmitry Maslov on the third day on the decentralized science approaches and his efforts in measurement the efficiency of science. Sergei Gribnyak is our constant host and would be presenting our research on the panel tomorrow with the minister and other respected experts. So also one of the founding themes of our work was this digital economy and digital democracy, and we put these values in all our work and in topics of this conference. So economic recovery is one of the key things we look into, but digital trust, interoperability within the countries, within the systems, the social impact, the ecological impact. So this is the key values that we translate in our work. So coming to the strategy, what Web3 Institute does, to develop the ecosystem. So we were thinking, okay, typically there are these ecosystem pillars like regulation or investment. So far, like after 5 years, we still have no regulation in place. It's like the whole story is even more than 5 years, and what 5 years is from the time that the Ministry of Digital Transformation pushed this law that got accepted, but still needs the taxation amendments in order to fully come into work. So there's still, gray zone around regulation. Ukraine was never a big hub for investment due to some judicial weaknesses and overall, so with the war, it became even worse because it pushed the migration of the talent. It increased the risks, even like holding the development offices. But the only one thing that was strong, through that time was talent, because Ukraine has one of the best technical universities for a long time. So it allowed us to become a development hub. And many great projects like Solana or Near, they were done by the founders that come from Ukraine, of course not registered in Ukraine. But for us, it's important to, for the Ukrainians are the most important, and developing the talent, allowing people to prosper and create more opportunities for other Ukrainians to prosper was the key. So that's where we could do something, and that's where also our lack of meaningful and sustainable activity. So how do we do it? I mentioned already the course on the crypto literacy, the basic course, the course like we did some other courses I will mention further. We initiated some important researchers. We connect people within our internship matching program. And also we experiment. So we build this community like student blockchain clubs, and have a small DIO own fund for grassroots initiatives in the education and more. So speaking about our courses, the basic course on crypto literacy is our one of the most known and successful. More than 36,000 students started to learn with it, and we intend to update it further with some new content and on-chain attestations. Last year we launched the intro to the Web3 professions, highlighting the we got for each of professions, the market, as we understood, needs developers, but not only the marketers, the managers, the financiers, the community managers, and so on. So we took representatives from Ukrainian rooted companies for each of the profession and asked them about the myth and the roadmaps, the expectations, the important media and knowledge they need to have. So both of these courses are now being integrated in the universities, and some of the universities even provide officials like credits for them. And time to time, we participated in the courses for the government workers, like with the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance for the regulators, or just internal workshops for the ministry to promote the use of DLT technologies inside the government. Also on our website, you can find these researches. So Talk to Founders was our first after the foresight, where we understood the founders have unique and most advanced in a way perspective to what drives the market. So we have spoken to them in a free manner, like what drives and what stops the development in the market, being also a talent, being like regulation, being war situation, and so on. So the report outlines the summarization of the thoughts on their perspective for the market development. The Web3 manifesto with those 4 topics like trust and recovery and so on is also our Bible in terms of how we measure our efficiency. Then, if you're interested in the existing cases in Ukraine government for like using DLTs for public services, there were like 6 cases that we researched, from CBDC to the timber industry, tracking supply chains, and so on. So it's an analysis of what was working in those implementations and overall what happened and how we can move forward with better implementations. And of course, this conference is a part of it. So we speak with the one of the best minds in the world on this. And thank you for being a part of this as well. So a few words on the internships. So after we launched the course on the Web3 professions, of course, this helps people to make orientation, because still many tech students, as Web3 is a bit of a bubble, not in the financial term, maybe as well, but bubble in the sense of a tight community where there's lots of slang, lots of insiders, and recruiting from the internal circles and so on. So, okay, we help people to maybe look into which professions could be there, but the best way we understood people could, students could really get their jobs is by practicing under the experts in the market. So we established a program where we just invited students to sign up, to share about their experience, maybe about their achievements, maybe they participated in some hackathons or whatever, or they're students of the cryptography courses. And then we offered this list to the companies so they can select who they want to interview. And through that, already a number of students have joined the internship, and some of them already switched to the full-time job. So we're continuing this work, and you could join this program as a student or as a company, and just check out this page mentioned here. Also, we understood that if we want to scale the educational initiatives in the universities, stimulate the internal researchers or clubs, we might want to offer them support, so for the people who already take the leadership role, we could offer, maybe they will apply with a small funding request for holding a meetup or something like that. And this, just in the second half of the year, we got 18 people who were signers from the community in this fund, and we got some donations from the companies like Cello or Gardens, and also from some community members. So currently we distributed already 2 applications, and we intend to increase our fund 10 or maybe 20 times even for the next year, as we see that even small amounts really help with getting good initiatives to the speed. So let's talk a bit about what's next. Tomorrow will be a panel on the Web3 impact for the digital economy of Ukraine. So this is another important research we're starting to make our steps measurable, because Ukraine has doesn't have a lot of resources to spare. So we need to be really precise. We need to have a scientific rigor in our implementations. So that's a step in that direction. We want to scale our internship program. So invite more companies, like last time we only mostly had technical universities because of the program supported by Ethereum Foundation, but we intend to scale to other universities, economic universities, to other countries as well, maybe more within European Union, but not only. We're really open to, share resources on the curriculum development, adapt our courses, or help the students to incubate the projects together by finding the experts and mentors. And finally, we're thinking about starting something like a talent association. So to gather more tightly those 50 partners around the needs of recruiting or creating more specialists in the market, so that would create like a more measurable ecosystem, a more transparent ecosystem about what really happens after people pass the course, or join internship. So there would be like a clear ROI on the program's investments. So just for this research, I mentioned, you heard today Paul Brody from the Ernst & Young. There would be Ramesh from the leading the blockchain section of the IEEE overall, Hart Montgomery from the Linux Foundation, Dimitrios from the GBBC. So we already have like quite great minds on the research, but the research itself is really huge. It has more than 20 sections. So, for example, on the energy, on the judicial system, and so on. So, of course, that we would need more experts. And if you look to contribute, please contact us, offer your expertise. You can, it can help your use cases maybe to be more, considered for the Ukrainian context, and get some also feedback and traction within the expert community that's already working on that. Check out our current talent within the internship matching, so you could see it's like we get more people joining all the time, but you could already see like cybersecurity specialists, cryptography specialists, applied mathematics. So lots of deep tech, expertise, and you could see their good English level and their profiles. Just let us know if you're seeking any specific expertise, and we might make you a better match with our intelligence. And overall, we have this page on the website for the next 2 years plans. So we're really open, like if you would like to join our talent association, or if you are interested in any programs, feel free to see, like we're gonna build on the current successes, but we're also open to consider the proposals from our new and prospective partners. Maybe just one other thing on this talent association. So as we envision it, the on-chain certification could help us create this mapping of the industry. So maybe even like in the form of a, like union of Web3 professionals that can, vote, that can like whitelist, blacklist, that can, share, like professors can, attestate the students, and thus provide the companies instant way for, seeing this new talent appear on the market. So we will hope to use all the network science and tools to move the needle and decrease the cost of hiring, increase the quality of hiring. There are also some security problems lately in the industry with the like some bad actors trying to take positions in the companies. So yeah, we hope that could be a good step to improve this. Well, on this note, I will stop. Here's my contacts and the website. Please visit it and ask me any questions. Really open to that. In the YouTube comment section or somewhere else. Or if that's it, then thank you so much for being with us this first day. We have another 2 days of IEEE agenda and a few meetups. Follow the luma.com DLT forum link. Tomorrow we start like a half hour earlier, but it's for a good reason. There would be a great presentation from Dina on the UN Pension Fund, decentralized identity, and a huge number of other great speakers through the day. Thanks, everybody. Wish you a great time of day wherever you are, and see ya.